Hi everyone, welcome to the Young Revolutionaries, and today I'm going to talk about the State of the Union address that happened about 2 days ago. This is probably one of Obama's most aggressive speeches, and it was aimed mainly towards the middle class. First, I wanted to talk about the good things that he said and the good things I agreed with, and here are some clips.
As Americans, we don't mind paying our fair share of taxes as long as everybody else does too. But for far too long, lobbyists have rigged the tax code with loopholes that let some corporations pay nothing while others pay full freight. They've riddled it with giveaways that the super rich don't need while denying a break to middle-class families who do. This year we have an opportunity to change that. Let's close loopholes so we stop rewarding companies that keep profits abroad and reward those that invest here in America. I've heard some folks try to dodge the evidence by saying they're not scientists, that we don't have enough information to act. Well, I'm not a scientist either. But you know what? I know a lot of really good scientists at NASA and at NOAA and at our major universities. And the best scientists in the world are all telling us that our activities are changing the climate. And if we don't act forcefully, we'll continue to see rising oceans, longer, hotter heat waves, dangerous droughts and floods, and massive disruptions that can trigger greater migration and conflict and hunger around the globe. The Pentagon says that climate change poses immediate risks to our national security. We should act like it. And that's why our diplomacy is at work with respect to Iran, where for the first time in a decade we've halted the progress of its nuclear program and reduced its stockpile of nuclear material. Between now and this spring, we have a chance to negotiate a comprehensive agreement that prevents a nuclear-armed Iran, secures America and our allies, including Israel, while avoiding yet another Middle East conflict. There are no guarantees that negotiations will succeed, and I keep all options on the table to prevent a nuclear Iran. But new sanctions passed by this Congress at this moment in time will all but guarantee that diplomacy fails, alienating America from its allies, making it harder to maintain sanctions, and ensuring that Iran starts up its nuclear program again. It doesn't make sense. And that's why I will veto any new sanctions bill that threatens to undo this progress. In Cuba, we are ending a policy that was long past its expiration date. When what you're doing doesn't work for 50 years, it's time to try something new. Here's another example. Today, we are the only advanced country on earth that doesn't guarantee paid sick leave or paid maternity leave to our workers. 43 million workers have no paid sick leave. 43 million. Think about that. And that forces too many parents to make the gut-wrenching choice between a paycheck and a sick kid at home. So I'll be taking new action to help states adopt paid leave laws of their own. And since paid sick leave won where it was on the ballot last November, let's put it to a vote right here in Washington. Send me a bill that gives every worker in America the opportunity to earn 7 days of paid sick leave.
He talked on a lot of subjects, one of them including corporate taxes and the closing the loopholes, which is really important because there are literally companies, billion-dollar companies, making so much money and they don't pay anything in taxes or will actually get a corporate welfare check from tax dollars. So that is something that we definitely need to change. Will it change? Probably not, but it's good that he actually spoke upon it. And climate change, which is a really big thing because a lot of the Republicans don't even believe that climate change is a real thing. Like, they say, oh, it snowed, so what do you mean there's no climate change? But it's real, and 99% of scientists agree that we need to do something soon as possible for it to reverse all the effects that we already have done. So it's really important that he did talk on that. So that's a A+ for that. He also talked about peace in Iran and talking about how he would veto anything that would stop the progress of that. So that was really good. And then he also talked about the Cuba embargo that is going to end, which is a good thing because there was no reason for it and it wasn't helping anyone. Paid sick leave was pretty cool too because we are the only advanced country that doesn't have that, and we're the only advanced country that doesn't have a lot of things like free college or like free healthcare. But you know, we're the best country, the world leaders, but we're still behind. But anyway, yeah, and then the pay. He also talked about pay inequality, which he like mentioned it, which is a big thing that we need to get on the ball, and childcare, helping with that price, with those, would help a lot of people too. So. And he also talked about closing Guantanamo Bay, which he's been talking about since the beginning, but he seems like he still wants to do that, and he seems like he's really strong on trying to do that. So that's a good thing too. And he also talked about, he didn't really talk about these things, but he brought them up about, like, gay marriage and the reform in the justice system, which will probably not happen, but, you know, we're fighting for it. Another good thing he talked about was the minimum wage and strengthening unions, which is really good. And the free community college, of course, is amazing. It won't be completely free, but it's better than what it is. It would be better than what it is, and we would get more on track with other countries. So he had a lot of good things to talk about, and he made a lot of good points. This was definitely one of his most progressive speeches. He's usually in the middle, or like Obama's more of a like corporate. A corporate president. He's not really like a left-wing progressive president, but you know, he's better than Romney or McCain. So I mean, that's just is what it is, really. So the next question is, will any of this actually happen? A lot of people are just being like, oh, it's not going to happen because the Republicans aren't going to do this, or they're not going to agree, and blah 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 blah, which is true. But I'm hoping that like this will show people that maybe we should vote, maybe we should vote Democratic. The last election was like the lowest voter turnout, mainly because people didn't really have anything to go out for. Like there was nothing that they wanted to vote for that was something that was just like that made people want to go and vote. But the people that always vote are like white older people. So of course, since they all went out to vote, the Republicans took over the House, and they claimed this as like victory. America wants, you know, the Republicans and blah 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 blah. All these things that Obama has planned for. Hopefully, when people are like, "Oh, this is a good idea," because people are liking these ideas, but then they know that the Republicans won't agree, and that this is why we don't vote for them. This is why we don't want them in office, because they don't make any sense. Like, they literally put people who don't believe, who hate immigrants or don't want immigrants in our country, will put them in they put them in charge of like the immigration reform, the whole immigration system, or people who don't believe in science, who think that climate change is a made up thing. They put them in charge of these science programs, and it just doesn't make any sense. So hopefully all of this will show people that maybe that's not the way we need to go. All of their counter arguments are like, well, the money, the money, the money, when it's just like, all of our tax dollars, 59% of that goes straight to war. You can tell me that there's no money for tanks, no money for war, no money for guns. That's when you can tell me that there's no money for education or healthcare or any other kind of justice reform. So my next video will be about the bad sides and some of the stuff that I disagreed with him on, and hopefully it will be up soon. I'm trying to like get in the swing of this and try to figure out what my schedule would be and how much I'll be posting and stuff, but hopefully you guys stay tuned and see what's going on. Stay woke.